Today we're going to tear down this old 235 to try and figure out where the knocking sound comes from. It's been hotter than Haiti out here this last little while here. I don't know how it is where you folks live, but it's hot, I tell you. Leave a comment in the thing if you can guess what's causing the noise in this engine. My guess was a loose rod, but we had a lot of other ideas from folks. Some folks are saying there's a fuel pump making noise. I would hope it would be that, but it sounds pretty bad to me. So I don't think it's a fuel pump, but I guess we'll find out soon enough. Also our buddy Robert there, who's a patron of the show as well, he knows a lot about these engines, and he was saying that it's actually a stripped timing gear, or a timing gear that's about to come apart, I guess, because the engine still runs, but I guess they tend to make noise when they start falling apart, so we can certainly look at that as well, but I'm going to start by pulling the pan here, just because. Last bolt. You know, as excited as I am, I should certainly hope so. What? Alright, well I ain't checked to see if we got a loose rod or not, but just gonna look at the oil pan first, and I can see we've got a lot of this going on, so like a lot of metal shavings, and we'll just dig around in here. I can definitely feel some larger chunks as well. Oh yeah. I don't know if you can see, there's some debris. I don't know what the normal amount of debris is for a Babbitt engine, but oh, hold on here. Ooh, that's a big one. Yeah, there's a hefty chunk right there. So something's in bad shape. Just a closer look here at all the shiny bits here, all the sparkles. It's kind of neat though how they have these troughs for the dippers though. I never had one of these apart, these Babbitt motors, so this is all new and exciting for me. One loose rod. 2 loose rods. 3 loose rods. A camera that won't focus. 4 loose rods. 5 loose rods. 6 loose rods. 6 is very loose. Look at it go. Whee! Look at these cute little dippers though. That's what gathers up the oil and splashes it around. Didn't really take too much imagination to see why this engine was so loud. Well, this is kind of one of those scenarios where I didn't want to be right, but if you remember from the original video, I said this engine was probably run until it just wouldn't go anymore, and run right to the ragged edge, and that's exactly what we have here. It does look like the shims are still in place for the rods, but I don't think that's really going to make much of a difference at this point. This engine, I'm not an engine builder, but I'm thinking this thing just needs a complete rebuild at this point. It's probably still rebuildable, but like, I don't know why. I am certainly not going to bother with it, so we'll button it back up, take a few of the useful bits back off of it, and get it the hell out of here. Well, I do feel better now. Not really too upset about this because it just means that I made the right choice to rip this engine out and put in that other 235. Get rid of the Babbitt bearings and all that nonsense and the knockiness and all that. I think we're in a lot better shape, and time well spent. Now I know anything can be fixed, but see here, the thing is that other engine, it was free. So if I can fix a problem for free, don't really make sense to start sinking money into this boat anchor. Now we got a full pressure 235 in that truck, so we got a better engine overall. And yeah, just a win-win all around, I think. Well, we're finally back on the old 35 again. I know people are just going to be thrilled about that. This is the final push on it, so we got to get it done now. Got the used, previously enjoyed differential here, and just gonna clean it out and pull the axles out. I gotta invest in some new studs, and I'm gonna use these backing plates because they're riveted on, so I don't really have much choice, but we'll just transfer the brakes from that car over to this. I'm not too sure, but I think we may have had a pretty epic oil seal failure here. I could be wrong, but that's what it's looking like to me. And interestingly enough, the drum on this side was the side that was completely seized on, and yet it's been wonderfully lubricated, so yet it still managed to seize on. Now these do have bolt-on drums, so for whatever reason the drums are actually held on by these two 9/16 bolts on each end, just for extra security or something. I don't know what they were thinking there, but that's what holds them on. And so take those out, and then the drum in theory just comes right off, but in this case it was glued on around here pretty good. So but we heated it up and we got it off. We don't want to beat on these too much because for one, they're unavailable, and for two, these drums are quite thin. They're not they don't have a lot of wall thickness on them, so it doesn't take much to damage them, and it's nice to have a spare set. I got this side all stripped down, and now we're gonna have to free up all of this nonsense in here. This is just the cam for the shoes. But this here is the centralizer bolt. This adjusts the center, or it centers the shoes in the drum, and so that's this bolt right here. So what you do is you loosen that bolt and then spin the drum, and well, anyways, there's a whole adjustment procedure there, but this needs to all be freed up so that it can move and be adjusted. On the front, what had happened is it was all rusty crusty like this, and somebody slopped a big glorp of paint all over the whole thing, but they never actually freed any of this up. So I had quite a battle between the thick paint glorped everywhere and the rust. 90 years of rust. It was quite a battle to get that freed up on the front. So we're gonna get this all loosened up and working again, because it's kind of nice to be able to adjust the brakes. Well, I got this freed up, so you can see now we'll be able to center the shoes on the drum and actually adjust the brakes properly. Sad thing is, this actually wasn't even nearly as seized as the ones on the car, on the front anyways. This freed up very easily, and it's been sitting in a field for probably 70 years. Now it works mint. Nice thing about mechanical brakes is all you really have to do is just clean everything up and you know, replace the brake shoes, and that's about all you got to do. There's not really a whole lot else to go wrong here. Downside is we were saving the worst for last. It's going to take a while to clean this up. I'm just hoping all the oil flung out over everything will make it come apart a little bit easier. Probably not though. It's not even really oil anymore. It's more of a tar-based substance at this stage. A lot of dinosaur bones in that. Got new axle seals installed, and we did install new studs. Well, 5 out of 6 on each side. They only had 10 new wheel studs in stock locally, and I didn't want to wait any more time to get this thing put back together. So I dug around and I found a couple of previously enjoyed wheel studs, and I was a little concerned about that, so I sent them away to be carbon dated, and they came back as being less than 90 years old. So I think they'll be better than what we had. And as we say in the biz, if 5 don't hold it, 6 never would have. So I think we'll be okay there. This car, I'm pretty confident, still has the original wheel studs on it. So this should, in theory, be better than what was there. I actually did purchase new wheel bearings for it. Much to my dismay, I discovered that the origin of these bearings comes from a less than desirable place to buy parts from, and so I looked at these bearings, and I couldn't find anything wrong with them. I don't know anything about bearings, but they look fine to me, and the axles rotate fine in there, and they're made in the USA. So I was like, well, it's kind of a shame to pull this stuff that's made in the USA that's working fine and replace it with some inferior new thing that we don't know how long it's going to last. So I'm willing to take a gamble on these old bearings here, and I guess if they don't work out, then we do have replacements. Bit disappointing though, because for what they charge for these, I was expecting them to be made in the USA, but I guess that's just not a thing anymore, so that's kind of a shame. We also got new C-clips to hold the axle in, but these are made in the same place as the wheel bearings, so we're just going to reuse these 90-year-old ones because they're probably better than whatever the hell these are made out of. Well, I got the axles plugged back in, and this thing's almost ready to put in the car here. Trouble is, I need to move the car out so I can rip the old rear end out of it. And I can't even do that because I drug out these stupid boat anchor engines, but they're not getting picked up now for a while. So we're kind of stuck here because there's no fast and easy jobs on this. And I mean, if I can't move this car out, junk, 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 too much junk in here. Anyways, in the interest of staying productive, a guy brought me this box side. It's off some kind of modern vehicle, I think a Toyota or something, but you can let me know in the comments if you know what this belongs to. Anyways, it's got the typical square body Chevy rot behind the wheel well here, so we're just going to put in a quick patch here while we're in between projects, and that's what we're doing. So get a little close up of the damage there. Looks like the inner panel is gone as well. Yes, we can all see that. Okay, good. Let's start working. So you can see the reason I removed this inside panel here is that the hole on the outside here, it only goes up to here, but if we go on the inside where this inner piece was, you can see the rust goes all the way up to here, and I'm willing to bet that once we've cleaned this up, there's going to be some more holes in the top here. As you can see, things have now escalated, as it often does. It looks like we're probably going to have to go even all the way up to about here to actually get any good weldable metal. Speaking of escalation, this was just supposed to be this spot here, but I just kind of grabbed it here, and you can see it's pretty thin there. Actually, there's already a hole here. So I mean, it doesn't really make sense to replace this and then just leave this. So I guess we'll take a look at what's going on here. Not that I really want to, but you know, yeah, that's no good. Shouldn't have picked at it. Looks like we're not as bad as I thought, but definitely some holes here in this bottom, so I think I'm just going to be a nice guy and put a little patch in here. And you know, we already got the welder out, so we'll just make this thing solid, and that'll be that. So luckily I've had this piece sitting on the shelf for like an eternity now. I can't remember how I ended up with it. I think it came with a truck that I bought years and years ago, and lost interest in, as often happens. It is for a long bed, but I mainly just would like it for this section here behind the wheel. Pretty tricky piece to make, and I don't really want to make it, so might as well sacrifice this, because I don't think I'm ever going to build one of these Toyota trucks for myself. All right, we got both pieces tack welded in, and I got a little piece put in the back here, and now we're just gonna blast it all in and grind it down and call it a day. Alright, I got this all welded in and cleaned up. I did a little bit of hammer and dolly work, but not too much. I don't get too carried away with that with MIG welding. So on these patch panels, the edges are usually either too long or too short. In this case, they're too long, so I like to, in that case, I like to just leave that till the end. I leave them long. Just makes it a lot easier when you're welding to have this kind of long edge to build up to. And you don't end up running the risk of trimming it too short or whatever. And then having I like to kind of keep all this all in line so there's not like a jagged edge here. So now that everything's welded and we got the brace welded back in, we can trim and clean up these edges, and then that's about that. There's the completed repair. Not perfect, but arguably better than the gaping rust hole that we cut out. Same back here. Just got rid of the rust, put in a little simple patch. Done like dinner. Also zipped the inner brace back in, but you can see here that I modified it slightly, so I think it's originally closed off. And so I just cut an opening here, so now it can drain out and you can get in there with a hose and spray water in to clean out any mud or whatever. So hopefully it doesn't rust out again here, because every single one of these trucks that I've seen that's been original, even like the super clean ones, they all rust out here. GM really dropped the ball on that, but hopefully this will last a little bit longer. Patch panel's good thick metal and it actually fits really good. I don't know where it came from, like I said, but I'm sure they're all stamped in the same place. But with these square body trucks, they're kind of hit and miss on the patch panels. Some of them fit awesome and some of them like aren't even close. Seems like a lot of the tooling for the patch panels they just recycled from back when these were just work trucks and guys were just like slapping them together to keep them on the road and whatever. But the actual restoration parts, now that these are actually like desirable and collectible and whatever, some of that's caught up and some of that they're still using the old work truck parts. So it's kind of, like I said, hit and miss, but whatever this patch panel was, it fit really well. Awesome. Actually, I didn't have to do anything to it hardly other than trim the edge back. Sorry for not filming this in great detail, but this is just one of those jobs where you got to get it done and can't focus on filming. Plus, there's already like 100 videos on this channel of me welding crap in, so you can check on one of those videos and if you go over my process in a little bit more detail if you want. rather than just repeat the same thing over and over again. That, and there's probably thousands and thousands of videos on YouTube on how to MIG weld in a patch panel. So we're not trying to reinvent the wheel here or anything. It's all pretty straightforward. But I figured I'd just film an overview of this with a couple of little tips, and that's what we're doing. So we might as well turn the camera on, I guess. So now that this unpleasantness is over, we can finally get to the fun stuff, like tripping over these stupid boat anchor engines that are in my way. Yes, awesome. So final thing I'm going to do on this differential is, I don't know if you can tell, but the front bushing for the drive shaft is worn out. So we're going to replace the bushing and the seal. And another millennial moment here. I've never tried changing one of these before, so this is probably going to be a disaster. So the hardest part of this has just been cleaning out in here and getting this old seal out of here. We had to break it up with like a chunk of something or other and pick it out piece by piece, and that wasn't very much fun. But I thought you could just leave it in, but there's like a thing here, a stopper or whatever, round thingy that prevents it from going too far back. So you gotta get it out to get everything new put back in anyways. So we're gonna be replacing all this with this new old stock Oklahoma bushing. They're called that because they're made in Oklahoma. And this is an old one. I tried to get a new seal for the end, but they couldn't find me one at the place where they sell seals. So I just been soaking this one in Lucas for a while, and I mean, it's not damaged, so hopefully it'll be fine, because I don't really want to do this job again. The idea is that the stock version is 3 pieces wedged in there, and this kind of gets the whole thing all in one shot. Less chance of screwing it up, I guess, when you install it. Well, that all went together suspiciously well. I was going to film that, but I don't know, it just went right in there and tapped it in, and it's fully bottomed out here, but I'm just kind of like second guessing myself, because it seemed like it went too easy. But you can see all of our play is gone here, and I mean, I can't, like I said, it can't go any further back because it's seated on that stop. So I guess that's that. I followed the instructions, so if anything goes wrong, I guess I'll just write them an angry letter and complain. The thing I got left to do is I just got to drill into this a little bit and put a plug in there to keep it from spinning or whatever, and then that should be good for another 90 years. At least providing that the 70-year-old seal in this thing holds out. Well, I was dreading doing this because according to the internet, this was like the worst job in the world to do. And maybe it is when this is still in the car, but when it's out, this is like the easiest job we've done so far. So I guess don't believe everything you hear on the internet, especially not on this channel. Everything on this channel is BS. Well, I was just going to plug this thing back into the car just as it is, all rusty and crusty and whatever. But rattle cans were on sale at the hardware store, so I figured when in Rome, we'll give it a quick rattle can job and spruce it up, and then we can say it's rebuilt. It's been beautifully prepped, and now it's rattle can time. What do we have here? Beauty Tone. It says it revitalizes, seals, and protects. So not only are we painting this, but we're also completely rebuilding it and resealing it. So I didn't even have to waste my money on new seals. We could just paint it with this. Yeah, this was on sale for $9 at the store. I don't know, you guys in the US, that's probably big money to you, but $9 up here, that's pretty cheap for a rattle can. So let's give it the old test. This stuff works mint. Totally revitalized this rear end. Covers right over dirt, rust, spider webs, grease, and oil, and whatever other contaminants you have on the surface, and completely rejuvenates it and just really spruces the thing up. So it covers better than the Tremclad does, would you believe? I'm impressed. Mostly because it was cheap, but it actually is cheap and good. So boy, I'm just pleased as punch right now, as you can probably tell. I think I should have gone with the semi-gloss black rather than the straight flat black. But you know what? It'll be under the car, so it don't matter. Now I should stress here that this is only temporary unless it works. This is just kind of a bush fix to get this car back on the road for a year or two. If it lasts longer than that, well, good, I guess. But if it don't last longer than that, well, I guess we can't expect a whole lot. Well, it sounds like old Okie's going to be going to a good home this weekend. That'll give me enough room to get this car moved out and pulled out, and then we can start plugging the new diff in. You got to pull the transmission out of this still and do the final thrash for SEMA. It's come to my attention that some folks are real concerned. I'm going to be damaging the fender on the chicken truck because I've been using it as a workbench for rebuilding carburetors and starters. As you can tell, I'm making great progress with my anger management. A month or two ago, I would have thrown a starter at this, but now we're down to a carburetor, so I think we'll be okay. So we're finally on the final push to get the 35 back on the road. Basically, we're going to be pulling it out here in the next day or two and working on it until it's roadworthy again, or we find more catastrophic problems. And at that point, well, I guess we're done on it for now. Once this car is back on the road, then we're finally back on the chicken truck full time again. Been a while, but we're getting close to being caught up with all this nonsense. So thanks for watching, everyone, and for slogging it out through these desperate times while we're trying to get caught up so we can get back on the chicken truck. But just the way it goes, I guess. And we'll see you again soon, hopefully with a running and driving 35 or a 35 that we find more catastrophic damage, and it's going to be a backdrop again for another year or two until I feel like working on it again. But one way or the other, we're working our way towards getting back on the chicken trucks.